What's up everybody? Chào các bạn và chào mừng các bạn quay trở lại với podcast Slow and Clear của What's Up English. In this video, I'm going to show you guys a way to learn English from my videos. Whether they are my vlogs or my podcasts, you can use this method to learn English really effectively and actually remember what you learn. Now, if you are someone who watches my videos each week and you learn English like that, then that is totally fine. You can learn English in that way. But this method is going to be for people who maybe have less time and they want to learn with a bit more structure and they want to learn more efficiently. Then you can use this method to learn and remember what you learn from my videos. So as always, this video has a free PDF that you can download right here with the QR code or click the link in the description. And in that PDF, you will get the full vocabulary list of some of the difficult or related words to this video and also the full transcript. And by the way, at the end of this video, I will show you a way that you can use that PDF to learn English. All right, so let's get started with the method. So this method is a 3-step method. And one way you can look at it is like step 1, you plant a seed. And then step 2, you water the seed. So let me explain what I mean. Okay, so for step 1, I recommend you watch the video for the first time with the subtitles. And the goal of this step is to watch the video and try to understand as much as you can, even with the subtitles. So if there are some new grammar structures or new vocabulary words that you see, your job in this step is to learn those things. And when I say learn, it doesn't mean remember. Not yet. Just try to learn what they mean and plant that seed in your brain. Now, if you are a beginner, then maybe you can just watch 5 minutes of the video, a few minutes, and then, whoa, that's a lot of information. Then you have to take a break. That's totally okay. Or if you are more advanced, you could watch the entire video and try to learn as much as you can from that video. Whether it is a podcast or a vlog, you can do the same thing for both of those videos. All right, so that is step 1. Watch the video with the subtitles and try to learn as much as you can. Any new words or sentence structures, whatever. By the way, if you can understand this podcast, but you still struggle to speak, then make sure to check out my complete American English pronunciation course. In this course, you'll learn all 44 sounds in the IPA, along with the more difficult sounds like linking words, the ending S, and much more. Plus, you'll be able to actually master speaking these sounds with our special chorusing tool, where you can practice hundreds of common words and sentences for every sound. Over 1,000 students have already transformed their pronunciation. Just scan this QR code or click the link in the description to see if it's right for you. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. So that's planting the seed. Now, after you plant the seed, what do you have to do? You have to water the seed, right? If you just plant it and don't water it, then the seed is just going to die. So for step 2, let's water that seed. How do we do that? To water the seed, you can wait a few days, maybe 1, 2, or 3 days, and then watch that video again. So watch the video or the part of the video that you watched in step 1. For step 2, you simply watch that video again, but this time you don't look at the subtitles. The goal of this step is to try to understand as much as you can without looking at the subtitles. So you're trying to remember what you learned from step 1. So for example, if in step 1 you watched it for the first time and there were a few new words, in step 2, when you watch it without the subtitles, your job is to try to remember the meaning of those words. And when your brain has to work to remember the meaning, this is what forms stronger connections in your brain to remember those words for longer. So basically, the harder your brain has to work, the better you will remember those things. So if step 2 for you is very difficult, trying to remember, oh, what did that word mean? What was that? Because you're not looking at the subtitles, then that is really good for your brain. When it's thinking about the meanings, it's forming connections. So that's your job for step 2, is watch it again without the subtitles and try to remember and understand as much as you can from step 1. So step 2, we can consider that watering the seed. You're putting water on it to help it grow. All right, now after you've done step 2, you can wait a few more days again. And now let's go to step 3. So in step 3, you watch the video again and you test yourself to see how much you remember. So now you're watching the video, not looking at the subtitles, but when there's something you don't understand and you can't remember it and you really try, but you can't, then you can look at the subtitles and say, okay, that's what that word means. And then move on. Keep going. So what you are doing here is you are testing yourself to see how much you remember. And you're, again, challenging your brain to try to remember and make those connections. And if you just cannot remember a word or a grammar structure, the meaning of it, that's okay. Just look at it again. Oh yeah, that means that. And then move on. So now that you've done the 3 steps, step 1, 2, and 3, what you can do is go back and forth between step 2 of watching the video with no subtitles and trying your best to remember, and then step 3, watching it again and testing to see how much you remember and checking the words when you tried, but you really cannot do it. So with this method, every time you do that, you're going to remember more and more. And every time you remember a word or a grammar structure, that connection becomes stronger in your brain. So when you hear it again in another video, you'll know what it means. And what happens is that then for a new video, for example, when you go to step 1 will be easier. You will understand a lot more. There will be fewer words that you don't understand or fewer things that you don't understand. And then, so you repeat this process of watching the video with the subtitles, understanding it, rewatching it without it to challenge yourself to understand, and then step 3 of testing yourself. When you repeat this process again and again, your listening will improve so much. But of course, you have to stay consistent. And this method is not something I invented. This is a very well-known method that people use to learn new things. For example, doctors, when they're in medical school and they have to learn 1,000 things about the body, they use flashcards and active recall, which just means trying to remember yourself, to build their long-term memory. So the idea is that you learn something, you plant that seed, and then you challenge your brain to pull that meaning, to remember that meaning. And every time you do that, that memory becomes stronger. Okay, so now let's say you've been watching this podcast for a while and the podcast is pretty easy for you. You watch it and you understand maybe 90, 95%, maybe even 100% of the podcast. Now, for you guys, you could increase the speed of the podcast to 1.25 or 1.5. And also, I would recommend that you also start watching other podcasts or other videos by native English speakers. So those videos, for sure, are going to feel a lot more difficult than my videos. Maybe they speak really fast and don't speak as clearly, but that's okay. Because when it's challenging for you, then that means you are learning. That doesn't mean you have to stop watching my videos, right? Because if you watch my video and you understand all of it, then that's just helping to reinforce your knowledge. You're understanding it and you're just making those connections a little bit stronger. So your listening skills just become more automatic. Now, to go back to watching new content and challenging yourself, the reason why that is so important is because you can think of it like exercising. For example, if you go to the gym and you bench press 20 kilos, right, in the beginning, and then after 2 weeks, 20 kilos becomes too easy, then what are you going to do? You're probably going to add more weight to the bar, right? So then the 20 kilos becomes too easy, so you increase it to 25 kilos. So now this is a bit harder. And then maybe before, with 20 kilos, you were able to do 10 reps. But now with 25 kilos, it's harder, so you can only do maybe 5 reps. Think of learning English in the same way. So maybe for my videos, you could watch a whole video and understand it. That's the 10 reps. But then when you increase the weight to a more difficult video, then maybe after just a few minutes, your brain gets tired and you get bored and you want to stop watching because it's too difficult. That is totally okay. That's like doing, 3 reps or 4 reps instead of 10. But then the more you do those harder reps, slowly you will be able to do more and more, and it will become easier. So it's always important to continue challenging yourself in order to improve. Now, another thing that you guys can do if you are advanced enough is you can practice shadowing along to my video. And this is where the PDF can become useful, is you can download that PDF and shadow along to the transcript. You could also do the subtitles at the bottom, but some people have said that they want to see the whole sentence in order to shadow. So if you need that, then just download the PDF and you can shadow with that. All right, guys. So to recap everything, the whole method, step 1, watch the video for the first time It can be the whole video, or it can just be a few minutes of the video. You can look at the subtitles and try to understand as much as you can. Step 2, a few days later, watch that same video again, but this time don't look at the subtitles and challenge yourself to understand as much as you can. Remember, this challenge, the work that your brain has to do, will build the stronger connections and help you get better. And then step 3, watch it one more time, but this time you can look at the words that you don't understand and you can test yourself. And, if there are many words you still don't understand, don't get frustrated. It's okay. Just stay consistent with it and it will come. There are some words you can learn 20 times and you still forget the meaning. So it happens to me. It happens to everybody. It's totally normal. And so if the podcast is getting too easy, then again, you can increase the speed, practice shadowing along, and start watching other native English speaking podcasts. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you today. I hope it was super useful. I'm going to be doing more vlogs and podcasts and just kind of mixing it up. But yeah, it's been a while. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. By the way, if you want to practice your pronunciation and IPA, just check out this video right here. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.